Greetings and welcome to Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Monick Halm. Monick is a real estate expert, mentor, founder, syndicator, podcast host, and a keynote speaker and author. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Monick Halm. Monick, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Siddique. I'm glad to be here.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
That's a great question. So I started with being a lawyer. I knew nothing about real estate investing. So I was an accidental landlord. I just tried. The only thing I'd ever been taught was to buy my own house. And I live in a very expensive market in Los Angeles. So a friend of mine suggested we buy a duplex together. We ended up getting that, but instead of each taking a unit, we each took a room. We rented out the upstairs. There was a converted garage. There was another unit. We rented that out. We rented our basement, and I started house hacking before I knew that was a thing. Then when I met my husband, we got another duplex and a single family together. After 2008, we started flipping. And in 2015, I learned about syndication, bringing groups of investors together. So, and I also learned that you didn't have to invest where you live, which I always thought I had to invest in Los Angeles where I live. So I started to bring groups of investors together to purchase larger properties and in different states. So now we have a little over 1,300 doors in 10 different states.
I'm so grateful. A very impactful story. And what are the top three mistakes to avoid when it comes to growing your real estate business?
Top three mistakes. Okay, the first mistake is having the wrong team members, the wrong people on the bus. The biggest mistakes I've had have always been with just not having the right partners. So that's the first mistake. The second mistake is not being educated. And I feel like you're going to get an education either way. You either get it on the front end when it's not as painful, you can learn off of other people's mistakes, or you'll get it through the process and making your own mistakes. So I prefer the education piece, but I've definitely gotten both types of education. And the third mistake that people make is they are overly optimistic when they're buying. So you make your profits, through owning and when you sell, but you really make the money when you buy. So it's buying at the right price and not being too rosy. So really, when you're buying, to get some stress tests and look at worst case scenarios and buy as if there could be a global pandemic and things don't work out well, as opposed to being overly optimistic. So I think those are the top three mistakes to avoid.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from
it? Yeah. So my greatest failure, and it's not necessarily failure, it's feedback, but we did have, we had a couple of properties that we had gotten in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we didn't have the right team members. It was really hard to find good property management, and we also didn't know that market very well. So at the beginning, we over improved on some of our units, and we went really quickly through the cash that we'd set aside to fix up the units, and our occupancy was down. Everything was really challenging. We also bought in neighborhoods that we thought were up and coming. They were not as up and coming as we thought. So luckily, knock on wood, we ended up selling at a good price. We were able to come out, with a profit and do well by our investors. But I think the main lesson we learned is you have to really, really, really know your market so well. So know what things make sense to do in that market, really have a great team, really know which neighborhoods people want to live in and which they don't. And so it's getting that level of familiarity so you can purchase right.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Top 3 success secrets. So one is to be around other successful people. So you can shortcut a lot by being around other successful people. So I try to do that whenever I can. People who are doing greater things than I am, who are where I want to be. So that's one. Another one is that I actually really, really rely on higher power. So for me, I believe that I'm the steward of a business owned by God. And so from every day I wake up and I say, God, please send me the people that will most benefit from working with me. Please just guide me on what it is that I must do. And that I think is my biggest success secret. And then a third one is I really listen to my intuition, which I also feel like that's divine guidance. But when I get a sense to do something or to not do something, regardless of how logical it might seem otherwise, I always listen to my intuition.
We are about to move into a lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with you today.
How young are you?
I am 46 years young.
Angie, you are not 46. You are 18 years old with 28 years experience. What you want to do when you grow up?
I want to do exactly what I'm doing. I love what I do. I just want to do more of it. I want to help even more people.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Again, it's higher power, just tuning into that. And because I think that everything has gifts. I believe life happens for me, not to me. And so I just pray to see the gifts and to follow God's guidance and path for me.
How do you start your day?
I start my day with meditation, with exercise, with prayer, and this might be too TMI, but a morning lovemaking date with my husband too.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
The advice I'd give to her is just trust that intuitive guidance, always.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how you convince your significant other?
He's learned to trust my intuition too. So he's like, yeah, when Monick has a strong sense, then it usually works out. But he's the one that's going to stress test it. So I think together we when it makes sense for both of us, then that's definitely when it's a go.
What is the what is the impactful book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn, written in 1928, still so incredibly relevant. And it's really taught me about the power of my thoughts and really being in alignment with the divine will.
Why being impactful is important to you?
For me, that's everything. Contribution is my greatest value and growth. So it makes me happy, and I feel like that's what I was born for.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
I have a lot of mentors. But last weekend I was with one of my mentors, Sharon Lecter, who is the co-author and co-founder of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's just incredible to be around her and my other mentors who always show me the quickest path to where I want to be.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for helping 1 million women create financial freedom through real estate investing.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client right now is a woman who considers herself a goddess, who is who wants to create financial freedom for herself so that she can have the impact that she wants to have, that she can live the life she wants to have, be with the people, spend more time with the people she loves, and share the gifts she was born to give.
How can we support you?
The best way to support me is go to reigoddesses.com. Isn't that handy? Yeah, go to reigoddesses.com and just take advantage of the resources we have there for you. The best way really is I want people to become financially free and to bring others along with them.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to ask you a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I would say it's been amazing.
What would you say as a final word?
My final word is just thank you. And it's really important to listen to shows like yours and get those success secrets you can shortcut. So thank you for doing what you do, Siddique.
Thank you so much, Monick, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.